Welcome to Nice and Blunt. Today is Friday, July 5th, 5 p.m., and it's time for another mock draft. I guess it's a real draft. Let's go. Yeah, that's the right term. These are real drafts. They're actual leagues, and we have a real chance to make some money, and that's what we're hoping to do this evening. We're hopping into a Best Ball Mania. It's a $25 entry, big tournament, $15 million in prizes. If you happen to take home first place, you get $1.5 million. And for $25, I think I'd rather join this tournament than hop into the Pit Bowl for 20. But just a reminder of the rules. You got to finish top 2 out of your 12-team league to advance to the playoffs. Then first out of 13, then first out of 16, and then you enter a 539 seat final where, let's see, if you're top 539, if you make the final, you get $3,750 just to make it to week 17. Then it goes up from there, and if you happen to finish even top 20, you get 100K, 6 figures, and obviously that can be life-changing money. If you do win it at $1.5 million, that'd be fucking awesome. But as a reminder, half PPR setting, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end, 10 bench spots. We will be hopping in. There is a 6-second delay, so in case you want to join me, hit the button right now, and I'm going to wait 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 11 spots. I was the first of this pod, so now it's 9. You can join me if you'd like. There is a bit of a wait time for this league to fill. But fight me. Good to see you, man, in the chat. Thanks for joining me once again. Let me know if you have any questions throughout the chat. I'm happy to answer anybody's questions. But we have a little bit of time for this to fill. Now it's down to 6 spots. We'll be rolling pretty soon. But hope everyone had a good 4th of July. And, you know, now it's definitely summer. The heat is upon us. And I can feel it today. I got the AC running. I don't think you guys can hear it. I think it's too far away. This microphone is not strong enough to pick up. I also have some filters on it in terms of like noise reduction. So I don't think it's a big deal. Last I checked, you can't notice any humming in the background. But what position do I prefer or hate in the draft? I think I really hate pick 12. I think there's some reasons to like be hateful of 9 through 12, but honestly, I really don't like being at the turn because you just have to wait so long to get your next pick, and it forces you into like reaching by sometimes like 16, 17 spots sometimes to justify getting a player that you like really want. So I really don't like the bookend. I also don't really love pick 1. Obviously, you can get Christian McCaffrey, but we get pick 5, and I'm just happy to get a top 6 pick. Anytime I can get one of the high-end receivers, I feel good about my chances, and I'm grateful for pick 5 here. Every time I've done a Best Ball Mania, I think this is only my like 5th team so far in the tournament. I've gotten pick 12 twice, and I also have one with pick 9. I forget what the other team had, but I've gotten bad picks so far in this tournament, so I'm happy to have a chance at competing. And I think 4 is actually like a really good spot. I feel like when you're at 4, you get really good values coming back around. It's a little less likely that you get them at pick 2, pick 3, because often when somebody's falling like 10 plus spots, the team at number 4 usually scoops them up. So I don't hate the middle, but if I can ideally get a top 6 pick, I feel good. I think as long as you're getting one of those top 5 receivers, you are in good shape. So that's what's going to happen here. We're probably in line for Justin Jefferson. But if Jamar Chase falls to me, I'm definitely going to take Jamar Chase. we're shooting for upside in this tournament. We want a chance to win it all. And so, as safe as Amon-Ra St. Brown is, oh, Jefferson goes pick 4. So we are going to get Jamar pick 5. And I'll take that any day of the week. There is an argument to be made that Jamar Chase should actually be the wide receiver 1 overall. I think it's safer to stick with CeeDee Lamb at number 1, given there's nowhere near as much competition for targets in Dallas. But his contract situation is still looming. He is still holding out, and you never know. He could miss all of training camp, and usually that's not as much of a factor at receiver, but you never know. He could start off the season slow and, like last year, not put up good numbers at the beginning, but he was so good after the bye last season. He was incredible. He finished with over 1,800 yards. I think CeeDee Lamb is definitely number 1, but I'm actually starting to talk myself out of Tyreek Hill as wide receiver 2. I know last year he was on pace for that 2,000-yard record, but it didn't happen. He did get hurt. Tyreek Hill is the oldest receiver going inside the top 5 wide receivers. And, injuries are a factor. We can't just assume that last year's production is going to repeat. And injuries were also a big factor for Jalen Waddle in that offense. I'm not telling you that Tyreek Hill is like going to be a bust, but I think at number 2, you can pivot to Jamar. You can even justify Jefferson if you really, really want to. But obviously on underdog here, it's hard to get them past ADP when they're at the top. So you might as well just take Tyreek Hill when you're at 3, or if he falls to you at 4, just because you're never really going to get him past pick 4. So it's not like you want to be massively underweight any player. But I do think there is an argument to be made that you could take Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson above Tyreek Hill. And I wouldn't look at you like you're a crazy person. That might not be the right strategy. It might not be the right move, but it's a possibility. It's not completely out of the question. But if somehow Jonathan Taylor falls to me at pick 20, not going to be too many teams with Jamar Chase, Jonathan Taylor. So I may take him, but we'll see what happens. Not going to get ahead of myself. I'll probably just grab highest ranked. We're either getting Taylor or Olave. I'm hoping it's Taylor. Oh boy. Love it. Absolutely love it. Taylor usually goes pick 16, Jamar Chase at pick 4. I probably won't be the only team in the tournament that has this. I mean, there's, over 600,000 teams in the tournament? Yeah. But it's definitely on the unique side of the spectrum. Definitely more of a rare combo. So far through the first 2 rounds, I think I have the most unique start of anyone. But we see Jalen Waddle at 21, Saquon 22, Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf. And maybe this is a draft where I grab 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds. That's gonna be a risky strategy, but maybe it's the way to go. I do love me some Kyren Williams. I'm kind of hoping I get sniped on Kyren so I don't have to make that decision, but if it's Cooper Kupp, I'll probably just stick with Cooper Kupp. Okay, yeah, we're not getting Kyren, so I might have been spared from a bad decision there. Just because it's so hard to get good receivers later on. But I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. Last year, he was being drafted as a top 5 receiver. He did deal with injuries, but there's always the opportunity that he returns to elite status, and I think he's one of the last players at receiver going in round 3 that I'm actually like really comfortable drafting at this price. I think DJ Moore I barely have on the bubble of like top 20, top 22 in my receiver rankings. But once you get past DJ Moore, I think there's wide receivers going in round 4 that are in the same tier as guys like Michael Pittman, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, even Zay Flowers, I think are kind of just as valuable as a guy like George Pickens, Amari Cooper, who go past pick 40. So very grateful that I was not forced to go with Kyron Williams, and I do prefer Cooper Kupp straight up over DJ Moore. So that's our start. We go Jamar Chase, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, and I'm liking this team so far. It's only 3 rounds. I can always find an opportunity to fuck this up. Odds are I will make a mistake. More than one, but at least through 3 rounds, I think we've set ourselves up for success. I don't think I botched it just yet. But Team 6 going with the Detroit Lions stack, at least setting themselves up for it, with St. Brown and Laporta. So they're targeting Jared Goff. Looks like we're in line to target Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford. And both of those are going at values I'm pretty comfortable with. So if that's going to be the case, I'm probably going to pass on QB at this 4-5 turn, barring like some insane values available to us. But George Pickens does go 38. The price on Pickens has been rising a little bit lately. But first QB off the board to Team 9, Jalen Hurts. Paired up with A.J. Brown. Never a bad strategy, but is a common one. There's going to be a lot of teams with A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, just because of the nature of this best ball setting. But can never hate it. Getting the stack is always valuable. If T. Higgins is there, that would be really nice, but I doubt it. What is Demelch gonna do? Leave me T. Higgins, please. You don't have a running back. Just take a running back. Grab Lamar. About to timeout. Not great. Damn it. Oh, just wasn't going to happen. Okay. Well, in that case, I don't think we can replicate the running back value that is on the board at this point, and I do have Pacheco ranked 1 spot above Travis Etienne in my rankings. So that's who I'm going to take. I prefer Pacheco straight up over Etienne. And we are taking 2 running backs through the first 4 rounds. So I'm going to be moving off the position for quite a bit. We do know that round 8 is the sweet spot for running back. And I often wait until round 8 to grab my RB2. But here we have Pacheco and Taylor. 2 top 10 options. I have Pacheco as number 8, Jonathan Taylor number 5. And we are living. But damn, I would have loved to have T. Higgins paired up with Jamar. Double stack in Cincinnati. Did not happen, but have no regrets. I probably get sniped on tight end. There's 2 tight ends that I'm comfortable with. Only one of them left now in round 5, and I expect Kincaid to go off the board in the next 2 picks. Yep, there he goes. So, not the best. Mahomes gets taken. Ugh, rough. Okay. I really don't love receivers here, but like you just have to take somebody. And because I already have two running backs, I'm not going to grab Jacobs. I'm going to pass on Jacobs. Damn, I don't love it, but I'm just going to go Jaden Reed. 10 touchdowns last year. I think the safest option in that Green Bay wide receiver room. There's a ton of upside, pass first offense, great play caller. Jordan Love should take another step in year 2, or I guess it's year 4 for him. But or is it year 5? I don't even know at this point. I think it might be year 5 for Jordan Love, but if it wasn't so crowded in Green Bay, I'd probably really like this ADP on Jaden Reed a lot, but I think it's only here because wide receiver gets pushed up so much, and you kind of just have to start taking the position. But we do get Pacheco. We miss out on tight end. I was really hoping for tight end here in round 5, but we can't ignore the receiver position. So that's who we're taking. Maybe we'll set ourselves up for a Christian Watson later, maybe a Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, and perhaps a Jordan Love pairing if we miss out on Joe Burrow. But it is what it is. Cards in my car with R. Posada. Welcome to the chat, my friend. Hello from Stockton, California. You know, I've actually been to Stockton once in my life. I'm not from Northern California. I'm from Los Angeles. But back in my freshman year of college, I attended the University of San Diego. And I did transfer out of that school. I did not graduate from USD. I graduated from Emerson College in Boston. But during that year in San Diego, my best friend was from Stockton, and I went to visit him. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was during 4th of July weekend. Boy, that would have been maybe like 8 years ago, something like that. And I have been to Stockton, California once in my life. I pulled up on at the train station. Um, I took a train up there, and then he picked me up, and we had a good weekend. We went out to San Francisco for a day, and otherwise I've never really been to NorCal, but I have been to Stockton once in my life, so nice to see someone else from that part of the state. But we are back on the clock, and I could go with tight end, but nah, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to take someone that is poised to be a wide receiver 1. There are not many left going at this point, and I'm going to take my boy Lad McConkey. I'm a Charger fan. Can't fault me for going with my team, and I want a team I can root for. And McConkey is like so poised to be their number 1 receiver. I mean, he's got Justin Herbert as quarterback. Is it really going to go wrong? I don't think so. So that's who we take, but you're welcome, pal. Appreciate you tuning in, and just glad that people. It still kind of baffles me that people actually care what I think about football. Like if you asked me like 5 years ago before I started the channel, this is year 3. No, I think this will be year 4. Of like really committing to the channel. And yeah, I would have been shocked that anyone really gave a shit when I like back before I started. And then one day I was like, fuck it. Like I want to do this. It's going to be fun. And let me take a shot at it. And here we are. But looks like you appreciate the Stockton love. I feel like it doesn't probably get too much credit. But oh, wow. There's a chance we get Kenneth Walker, pick 77. If that's the case, I don't think I can pass on him. But if he gets sniped, I'll probably go Evan Ingram. Grab a reliable tight end. But, oh, boy. I do not see Walker fall to round 7, let alone 77 overall. That often? but I'm already planning to avoid running back a little bit later on. Nobody else is in the same tier as Kenneth Walker. Who knows? Maybe this is the year where Zach Charbonnet goes down and we see Walker back to that top 10 status. I'm going to take the value here. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. So we have 3 really good running backs in Jonathan Taylor, Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker. We're really competing at that position. And then at wide receiver, we do have some studs. I mean, Jamar Chase, never going to hate that as your first pick. Cooper Kupp, hoping that he reclaims that elite status. I mean, it's possible he's better than Puka this season. If he stays fully healthy, it's definitely possible. But we got Jaden Reed, hoping that he maintains that wide receiver 1 status in Green Bay. I think that's going to happen. And then Ladd McConkey, possibly in line for one of the highest breakout rookie seasons at receiver this year. I mean, I probably wouldn't rank him above Marvin Harrison ever. Like that's a terrible bet. But if you told me McConkey was more valuable than Malik Neighbors, I wouldn't be entirely shocked. He can definitely outperform Rome Odunze, given all the other competition for Odunze. And as much as I love Brian Thomas, I still see McConkey probably seeing more targets overall. So, yeah, McConkey's a interesting bet. And we also have some good stacking options still available to us. Every single quarterback that lines up with our team still on the board. So I think what I'm probably going to do is maybe gamble that we can grab Joe Burrow, not in round 8 here at 92, but at pick 101, round 9. I'd feel really good about that. And that's why I'm probably going to be targeting a receiver here. I'm really hoping that Courtland Sutton falls to me. It's not out of the question. It would only be 2 picks overall. But I think Sutton is in a bit of a tier that you really can't replicate. And obviously there he goes at pick 88. So never mind. Not going to happen. But if Ferguson does not get taken here, I'll grab Ferguson. We need some competition at the tight end spot. And running back is definitely not a position of need. So this team right before us already has a tight end. Please do not snipe me. Let me get Ferguson 7 picks past ADP, please. Please and thank you. But he timed out when he took T. Higgins. I hope he's not going to time out and grab best player available again. Okay, he goes Joe Burrow. He's trying to fuck me over with Joe Burrow. Oh, right, he has T. Higgins. Never mind. Justified. But now we have Jake Ferguson. One of the last tight ends I'm comfortable as my number 1. I still feel like I can really compete if I have Jake Ferguson on my roster. I was hoping for Kittle, but Team 3 doubled up with Kincaid Kittle when they only had 1 wide receiver. I do not like that strategy at all. Team 3, I think, is destined for failure. I don't want to be too confident about, counting out a team like that, but to only have Tyreek Hill, Rashee Rice through round 8, I don't like that strategy at all. But Dak Prescott, Jordan Love go off the board, so stacking options disappearing very quickly. Njoku gets taken. Shit. I think I'm going to set myself up for a Justin Herbert stack. I'm going to go Joshua Palmer. Not too many wide receiver 2s with as safe of a floor here. Lockett has more competition to deal with. Lockett's also much older. Palmer's in a contract season. And if, who knows, maybe McConkey starts out slow, Palmer would probably pick up the pace alongside him. I think there's some big spike week potential where one of these 2 Chargers receivers is going to produce week in, week out. One of them I think is going to be viable, and it'll probably rotate a considerable amount, at least early on, until McConkey really establishes himself as the alpha. But in case you have not done so already, in case you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Please like the stream as well, and give me some good luck for this roster. We have not taken our quarterback yet, and we just got sniped on Burrow, and then Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, who also line up with some of our teammates, did not come back around. So right now, our stacking options are pretty limited, and we've kind of forced the issue. I'm going to probably be looking at Justin Herbert as our QB for this team. But so far, really love the running back room. Jonathan Taylor, Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker. There's a chance I get away with only taking 3, but I'm still probably going to go with 5. I'm not going to be taking 6. When I have 3 like this, there's no need for 6. If I grab another tight end soon, then we can possibly justify only taking 2. So that means Goddard is an option. I also like Brandon Cooks here. Goddard goes off, so that's not an option anymore. We could possibly get a great value on Trey Benson, but he'd need to fall another 4 picks. I don't think running back is critical here. I think wide receiver is probably a better investment. What happens? This team only has 2 running backs. I think he's going to go with Benson at a value. That would be my guess. Who do they have? Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. I could be really wrong about this, but I've actually taken 0 shares of Tony Pollard this season. I'm not a believer in Pollard. He goes Benson. So there's no point in grabbing one of these running backs. It's not a massive value. There was an argument to be made we should have grabbed Benson if he was there, but he's not. So I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks, another Dallas Cowboy. And who knows? Maybe there's a scenario where CeeDee Lamb goes down with injury and like for 5 weeks to close the season, we're just getting a dozen targets apiece for Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks. Maybe that happens. But other than CeeDee Lamb, there is no target competition whatsoever in Dallas. I think both of these Cowboys offer high upside going this late. But what does quarterback look like? Ooh, it'd be a gamble to go with Herbert coming back at pick 140. He's got an ADP of 133. And while everyone has a quarterback, some teams have like just Jaden Daniels. I don't think I'm going to gamble on it. I think I'm just going to take Justin Herbert. I do not care about the Devin Singletary value here. Yes, it's a dozen picks, full round past ADP, but like it doesn't really do anything for me. I don't have that type of need at the position. I do love guys like Jerome Ford, but I just don't think it's critical given the guys I have. I think it's most important that I lock up this Charger stack I set myself up with. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take Justin Herbert a few picks before ADP. I don't want to reach like crazy throughout the draft, but here, given I have McConkey, I have Palmer, I think it's the wise decision. Just play it safe. Make a pick that's not going to burn me. Because if I don't wind up with Herbert, I'm not going to be too happy with the options at QB I'm lined up with. I have no stacking options for Kirk Cousins, and we're going to be hinging everything on Matthew Stafford going even later, and I don't want to have to reach on him. When I've seen him fall sometimes past pick 170, I've taken Matthew Stafford in round 15 sometimes, and he normally goes around pick 151. So you can get a great deal on Matthew Stafford sometimes. I do not want to be forced to reach on Matthew Stafford. I'm more comfortable reaching on Justin Herbert. Del J asking, is Justin Herbert this year's version of 2023 Baker or 2022 Geno? I think specifically based on your comparisons that you brought up, I think Bryce Young would be more so the candidate to be this year's Baker / Geno. The reason for that being Canales was the OC for both of those teams, for both the Seahawks in 2022 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. He's the offensive coordinator that led to those breakouts. So based on the price in drafts that you had to invest in order to take those guys, like they were going dirt cheap, 18th round basically. I think Bryce Young kind of profiles more so as that. Justin Herbert, I think, is more so in line of like a who would compare. Last year you could get like not too many players going this late, but I think he could be this year's like Kirk Cousins. If he stays healthy, Kirk Cousins last year was like a quarterback 7, almost like a top 6 option on a per game basis. We know Herbert has that talent. I don't know if he's going to be like, top 5 this season, but he's going as like QB 17 or something. I'm pretty sure that's the right number. He is definitely going to outperform that ADP in my view. But okay, here we are back on the clock. And Chase Brown, I'm not in love with Chase Brown. I've hyped up Zach Moss considerably, but we're here at pick 140, and Chase Brown has fallen 17 spots. Another investment in the Bengals offense. So let's do it. Actually, nah. I have faded Chase Brown. And again, my running back core is one I'm really confident in. I'm going to do something that's maybe ill-advised, but Jermaine Burton had a 20-yard ADOT last season, and I'm going to further invest in Cincinnati just through the wide receiver position. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm kind of convinced that Zach Moss is actually like the clear RB1. Maybe I fucked up, but I've got 3 running backs I really trust. I don't feel the need to grab Chase Brown there. Even at a massive value, I think it's more critical that I grab good receiver talent that I cannot replicate later. And I'm probably going to need to grab like Stafford here. Sweet. Quentin Johnston goes. I did not want to grab Quentin Johnston. But if I take Stafford, I think I'd be fine with him as my last quarterback. Roll the dice on just those 2. There are some good values at running back, but kind of like the last round, I'm going to pass on the position. I feel really good about the 3 starters I have, and I don't think they're going to find their way into my lineup too much. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to grab the QB. We waited a long time to draft quarterback, so now I feel done at the QB position. If I get a crazy value late, then maybe I'll consider it, but Stafford is one of the last guys I'm like actually comfortable with as my backup. So double LA investment in Herbert and Stafford. 2 really good coaching staffs. Obviously, a great offense in the Rams, and he pairs up with my Cooper Kupp investment. So those are my stacks. That's what this team is riding on. I would have probably taken Jared Goff if he fell 1 spot to 140, but I don't. Don't take him. I have no regrets for passing on Chase Brown there. You might think I'm foolish, falls 17 picks, but I'm just not a believer in him this year. I don't believe that you want him. I want Zach Moss. So this is our team. We have Justin Herbert double stacked with Ladd McConkey, Joshua Palmer. We have Matthew Stafford paired up with Cooper Kupp. I'm going to be targeting Demarcus Robinson as my wide receiver 8. Might call it done in that scenario. My other receivers are Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed, Lad McConkey, Joshua Palmer, Brandon Cooks, Jermaine Burton. High upside with Burton, especially if Higgins shits the bed for the second consecutive season. And at running back, we went with 3 guys early on. Jonathan Taylor at a value, Isaiah Pacheco at ADP, and Kenneth Walker falling 9 picks in round 7. Those are our 3 guys for the running back spot. But tight end, we have Jake Ferguson. We're going to need some more tight ends moving forward. And one thing I learned recently is that Tucker Kraft has a pec injury and is probably not going to play for a considerable amount of time. That's really going to open up the door for Luke Musgrave. So yet another investment in the Packers. We already have Jaden Reed. And if Musgrave is on the board, I think I'm going to take him. But I probably get sniped. This team at 5 has been, or I guess 6. Yeah, pick 6. Has been sniping me. There's another snipe. But here's a guy I am interested in the tournament, especially falling 11 spots. Now I think we're cooking here with Jalen Wright. Possibly puts up a 0, but also could possibly be a league winner. He could be this year's Raheem Mostert. Could be in line for a massive amount of touches with the 32-year-old Raheem Mostert there in Miami, along with the brittle Devon Achane. So he's our running back 4, and if he hits, he will go off for top 10 value. I'm not going to pretend like that's an automatic scenario, but he's the type of guy in the tournament, especially at this value, I think would be a true league winner if he had a big season. Jalen Wright in the Dolphins backfield, one of the most valuable running back rooms in the NFL. That's the type of shot I'm happy to take. Because the worst case scenario for Jalen Wright is also like, it's a little bit worse than the worst case scenario for Chase Brown, but it's not that much different. It's really not. Whereas the best case scenario for Jalen Wright is leaps and bounds above the best case scenario for Chase Brown, in my opinion. But here we are, and we are in line for our stack. One of the last receivers I'm actually comfortable drafting at this point in the draft, Demarcus Robinson, double stack for Matthew Stafford on this team. I'm loving this team, actually. I feel really confident in, like, if it's good, it will definitely be competing in this tournament, but feel really safe. Our quarterbacks don't have the same bye. I have gotten stuck in that spot where, like, I only want to take 2 and then I'm in line for a 0 one of those weeks. But when Stafford is down on the bye week, we get Herbert coming off the bye. Who do the Rams play week 5? Let's take a peek. The Rams are at home against the Packers. That's going to be a shootout. Hell yeah. Okay. So I feel really good about this team. If it works out, it has tremendous upside. But we did just take our round 15 selection. We have 3 rounds left, round 16, 17, 18. And that's 3 more picks. We need 1 more running back. We need 2 more tight ends. This is the type of build where I waited a long time for tight end 2. And even tight end 1, I took him kind of late in Jake Ferguson. I'm probably just going to grab 3 tight ends. If somehow Conklin falls to me, I'm probably going to go Tyler Conklin. I'm a believer in Conklin's upside this season. But that's about 10 picks from where we are. We'll see if he remains on the board. But we're almost strictly running back tight end the rest of the way. If there is a good value at wide receiver, we will consider it. But if I am in line for Tyler Conklin, I'll probably make him my last tight end as well. I'll probably call it done at 2. I'll grab a 5th running back, and then I'll probably take a 9th receiver just for the hell of it. But receiver gets so ugly at this point. May not be the move. Conklin goes, so that's not going to happen. Dang. I kind of like some potential upside with Michael Wilson. He is falling here. We should probably be sticking to running back tight end, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to grab my 9th receiver and gamble a little bit. Gamble that who I'm going to take at tight end is enough for me to get it done at the position. But guys I'm targeting here are going to be lining up with my stack, and I'm talking myself into Hayden Hurst more and more as the weeks go by. He got drafted by the Ravens, the same organization where the Chargers got their new general manager, Joe Ortiz. He drafted Hayden Hurst in round 1 above Lamar Jackson, by the way. They believed in his talent. And he also played in the Greg Roman offense before they moved off of him once Mark Andrews was a big thing. He moved around to some teams that weren't too good, but now he finds himself in the Chargers offense where he does have an opportunity to thrive. Herbert does like the tight end spot. We have that stack set up, so it is justified. And I do think that this Chargers tight end room has some sneaky upside. I am probably going to be targeting Hayden Hurst here, but I think I can probably get him in the next round. And somebody who's been going mostly undrafted, but I think has tremendous upside, I think will be the pass-catching running back in Las Vegas, is Dylan Laube. I actually like Dylan Laube a lot. He caught 68 receptions for 700 yards passing for New Hampshire last season. And in this tournament, I want a unique approach. I want a player that's not going to be rostered too much. And we have the type of running back room where we're not really counting on a ton of production. I could go CEH, but I already have Pacheco. I'd rather just bet that Pacheco's the one you want, doesn't get hurt. I'm going to go Dylan Laube. You can talk yourself into Zamir White all you want, but Zamir White does not really catch passes at a high rate. That was not his skill set coming out of college. And while Zamir White should be the clear RB1 on first and second down, Laube is a pass-catching specialist, and Laube is a name I have been targeting the last week or so as I've looked deeper into his numbers. Not like the most explosive player, 4.54, 40, 5'10", 206, but holy shit, the receiving potential is out of this world. In 10 games, he caught 68 receptions. That's like unheard of. In college, who the fuck does that? Dylan Laube does it. And he also scored 16 touchdowns last year in 10 games, 17 the year prior, so 33 touchdowns combined. Also 49 catches as a junior. That's all he's going to do in this backfield. Be on the field on third down, catch a ton of passes. And if he plays well, it's not like Antonio Pierce drafted Zamir White. There's potential that Laube overtakes him. I do not fear Madison at all. Madison, I think, is completely washed. I am not a guy that worries about Alexander Madison. So Dylan Laube, yes, he's a 6th-round pick, but definitely has some massive upside. And if you told me Zamir White went down, I think he would have enormous value in this backfield. So that's what you're praying for with any handcuff running back at this point. You're hoping there are some weeks where the starter goes down. And in 4 starts, yeah, Zamir was getting a lot of work, but he only scored 1 touchdown. And it's not like we've seen him get like a full 17 game workload of touches. So I actually like Lauby a lot. I think, especially from a unique standpoint, there's not many teams who've drafted him. And if it were to work out similar to Jalen Wright, there's tremendous upside because Antonio Pierce sends a massive workload to the running back position. Last year, when Zamir White was the starter and no one was behind him to threaten touches at all, Zamir White is getting like 23 touches per game. So that's the upside for Dylan Lauby. Let's hope for the best. But now we're locked into tight end, and yeah, the guy I want is still on the board. Even if he gets taken, even if somehow I get sniped here on Hayden Hurst, I can also pivot to Donald Parham if I really want to. But I prefer Hayden Hurst by a mile, and I just hope I don't get sniped here. That would be a big bummer. But setting ourselves up for a 2-5-9-2 build. I feel really competitive with that, especially the names we have. We have a lot of talent overall on this team. Hayden Hurst is there. Hayden Hurst is my pick. Another stack with Justin Herbert. So here is the team. Definitely has a shot. Justin Herbert is the QB. Matthew Stafford is the backup. Jonathan Taylor, Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, Jalen Wright, Dylan Lauby are the running backs. Wide receiver, I got Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed, Ladd McConkey, Josh Palmer, Brandon Cooks, Jermaine Burton, Demarcus Robinson, and Michael Wilson. Tight end, Jake Ferguson, Hayden Hurst. So some boom bust potential, but a lot of receivers, definitely competitive with who we have. And I like this team a lot. The double stack with Stafford with Kupp and Demarcus Robinson. Triple stack with Herbert with McConkey, Palmer, and Hayden Hurst. I'm loving it, baby. So that's going to be it for this live stream, for this video. And let me know in the chat what you think of this team. And it's been a very fun live stream. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. It really helps promote these videos in the algorithm, and I appreciate it a lot. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you enjoy your 4th of July weekend. Hope everyone stays out of the heat and has a good summer. But I'll see you guys on Monday with another live stream, and I might be posting another video this weekend. Stay tuned for that, but if not, it'll be coming right at you early next week. But that's it for me. My name's Adam Riancho, and hope you all have a good one. Bye-bye.